he's wasting your time, okay? I hope everybody has a great holiday. Hi, everybody. It's Yaz. Good evening. Tonight, I'm going to talk about why it's so hard to let someone go, okay? And I'm going to talk in relation to women and men generally, but this goes for any type of partner. It could be partner to partner, man to woman. But in general, a lot of women have a hard time letting go of a man that they've been dating or in a relationship. Women in general, and this is not for all women, but a lot of women, they get very emotional very quickly, very attached very quickly. And this is why it's harder for them to let go of their partner, all right? This is why a lot of women accept behavior that they really shouldn't accept. For example, they may accept behavior when somebody ghosts or disappears on them, all right? You may be dating somebody and this person disappears on you. They're talking to you on a regular basis, and then all of a sudden you don't hear from them for a couple days. It could be a week. It could be 2 weeks, and then they always come back, right? Most of the time when people disappear or ghost, all right, it's because they don't want anything serious with you, all right? They're generally using you as an option, all right? You're not their first option, or they're juggling a lot of different women at the time, but they're not interested in you for a relationship. And if you're in a relationship or you're dating somebody that disappears on you, okay, you need to block that person completely out of your life, because if you don't, they will come back and they will do it again. So when you find that you're dating somebody and they do something that is not what they should be doing, for example, ghosting, or they're not showing you that consistency that I've talked about in other podcasts, when somebody really likes you, they're going to be consistent with you. They're not going to disappear. Somebody that disappears on you doesn't really like you, all right? They're keeping you around as one of their options. You could be a backup plan or a backup girl to other girls that they have, or they might just want to see what else is around, or they're not looking for something serious. Whatever the case is, you have to block that person and block them fast, because the longer you accept that behavior, the longer it will continue. Your feelings will get more stronger for that person the longer you go out with them, and it's going to be twice as hard to let go, all right? This is why a lot of people have a hard time letting go, because they let certain behaviors go in the beginning. They made excuses for that person. They said, well, maybe that person was busy, or they believed the lame excuses these people gave them. And people that, play games with you will always give you excuses, and some excuses will be better than others. And it's just a matter of whether you know the game enough to know whether they're telling you the truth or whether they're really giving you a lot of nonsense, all right? So the whole point is, when you're starting to see somebody or you're dating somebody, the minute you start to see these kind of behaviors, all right, that are unacceptable, you have to cut that person off completely. And this is what a lot of women don't do. They don't cut that person off. They keep them around. They accept that behavior. And I'll be honest with you, that's why a lot of men do it. Because they know you will answer that phone when they finally contact you. They know you will see them when they haven't contacted you, or when they have done certain things that were unacceptable. That's why a lot of men cheat, okay? Because they can cheat. And they know that a lot of women will take them back, all right? So what you allow is what you get. So you have to set a certain amount of standards, all right, of what you will and will not accept. and you have to stick by it. You can't just threaten somebody and say, well, if you cheated on me, I'll leave, okay? And then if it happens, you stay with them, because you know what? It's going to happen again. So you have to, you have to have more self-pride in yourself and not accept certain behaviors. And you have to stop being desperate and holding on to somebody that's not treating you well. All right? You have to think of yourself as better than that. If they can't recognize that you're a special person, then you wouldn't want them anyway. So keep that in mind. Don't hang on to somebody. If they really don't like you, then you wouldn't want them anyway. If they're not there for you, you don't need them, okay? But a lot of women, they get their emotions all involved. They want it so bad. And I know how you feel. You really want it to work. You've met a guy. You're really liking him. You're very attracted to him physically. He's got that look of, you have this romantic picture in your mind of the two of you and maybe one day walking down the aisle with this person. But you have to get rid of all these fantasies in your mind, and you have to start thinking with your head, and you have to say to yourself, is this somebody that is going to make me happy, or is this somebody that's going to break my heart down the road? Okay? Are these behaviors something these are flags, all right? There's certain flags that God gives you that you have to pick up on. And if you don't pick up on them, you're going to pay for it later. All right. That's what's happened to a lot of people. All right. Later on in the relationship, something breaks down. And I'm going to tell you, there were always flags there. There were always flags there. And then later on, when you looked on the relationship, you said, why didn't I recognize this? Why didn't I cut this person off a long time ago? But what do? We make excuses and we say, well, they're sorry. They said they would never do it again, or they were supposed to show up and we were supposed to go out, but, something came up. Okay, if you find that somebody's doing that to you numerous times, then you're making yourself too accessible to that person. If that person is always coming up with excuses not to see you, or they see you on their terms, that's not somebody that's making you a priority, all right? And that's not something that you should accept if you want something serious with that person. I mean, if you're just looking to date, very lightheartedly, that's one thing. But if you're looking for a future with that person, or you're looking at that person for long term, that person's got to be consistent with you on a daily basis. It can't just be the one day a text, have a good day kind of thing, okay? That person's got to contact you on a regular basis. That person's got to talk to you on the phone and show that they really want to get to know you, all right? If you're dealing with these game players, so to speak, all right? A lot of women, they question things and they're like, well, I don't know. He shows me that he's into me, but then he doesn't. Well, you just answered your question right there. Okay. If he's giving you the push-pull, all right, it's called like the push-pull. In other words, he's showing you a lot of attention one day and then 2 days go by and he's nowhere to be found. This is not somebody that's sincere. This is somebody that's playing with your head. And this is somebody that you have to block and get rid of right away the minute you see that. Because the deeper you go in, the worse it's going to be down the road. All right. And you have to really analyze these people, you guys, when you start dating them. You have to really see what kind of person you're dealing with. When it's right from the beginning, all right? If they're doing things that don't make sense in the beginning, or you're always sitting there analyzing things and trying to question, well, why didn't he text me back for a day or two? All right? If a guy likes a girl, he's going to text you back right away, all right? Unless he's at work and he's in a meeting, but when he comes out of the meeting, he'll text you right back. If somebody is not showing you that they're making you a priority, then guess what? You're not a priority, all right? What they show you is how they feel about you. And you have to stop giving these people a chance that don't deserve a chance, all right? You have to stop giving them your time. You have to, You want to be around people that make you a priority. You gotta let go of these people that are stringing you along and wasting your time. You have to get rid of them because they will continue to do it, and they're not ever going to walk away. As long as you're around for whenever they feel like contacting you, all right, they're going to still contact you. So don't think just because they contact you, oh, they really like you. If they really like you, they're going to contact you on a daily basis. They're going to be asking you personal questions about yourself and your past and your family. All right? That's somebody that's really going to like you. Somebody that's going to make time to come and see you on a regular basis and see you on a weekend when people are free on those days, not just kind of fill you in and see you during the week and then tell you on the weekend they can't see you. All right? So if you're dealing with somebody like that, that's not making you a priority, cut them loose, let them go, all right? Because it's not going to get better, it's going to get worse. If it's not right from the beginning, it won't be right in the end, and you need to save yourself that heartache down the road, okay? Don't bother, stop making excuses. Stop making excuses for these people. There's plenty of good men out there. Just like for the men and the women, there's plenty of good women out there, all right? I get the same kind of questions from a lot of the guys. They're like, oh, I'm just looking for a good woman, but it's so hard. And I'm like, listen, there are plenty of good women out there too, but when you meet a good woman, you have to recognize that you have a good woman. And if you play games with her, guess what? You're going to lose a good woman because a good woman is not going to put up with nonsense, all right? And that's how you guys have to regard yourself. You have to let go of the people that are, the fuck boys, the people that waste your time, the people that, they're here one day, they're gone tomorrow, or they never introduce you to their family. You know what I mean? Or they're dating you for 5 months and they still can't say you're in a relationship. Don't put up with that. You're better than that because there's always somebody else. There's other fish in the sea, and there will be another man or another woman that will value you, that you don't have to sit there and be like, well, I don't know. Should I say something? He hasn't mentioned, are we in the what are we and everything like that. Okay. You should not even have to bring that up. When somebody is serious about you, they're going to want to put you on, so to speak, lockdown. They're going to want everybody to know that you are with them. They will have no problem putting on social media that they're in a relationship with you, all right? If they're not serious about you, they're not going to want to put in a relationship with you. For example, on Facebook, they're going to make an excuse like, oh, well, I'm not into that social media thing, or, I don't want people knowing my business. That is all excuses, you guys. That is all excuses. Don't believe it, all right? That is somebody that doesn't want the people on their Facebook to know that they're in a relationship or they're with somebody, all right? That's a real red flag to look for, because if somebody does not want to put in a relationship with you on Facebook, for example, then they're looking to hide you most of the time, all right? So just keep that in mind, because if they can't do that, that is a red flag. The other thing I want to tell you guys too, when you're dating somebody, all right, this is really important, and this is what I've found in a lot of situations. A lot of times you'll be talking to somebody, right? And I'm telling you, Facebook profiles do give you insight into what kind of person you're dealing with, all right? When you look at their friends, you look at their posts, you look at the comments that are made, it's going to give you insight as to what type of person you're dealing with, okay? But the thing I wanted to tell you is, if you notice on their Facebook profile, they have no relationship status, right? You better question that, all right? Because generally when somebody is single, they're going to put single on their profile. If they don't have single on their profile and they're saying they're single, okay, you better make sure that that person is single, because this is what a lot of them do. A lot of them put no status whatsoever and they have somebody, all right? And I don't know why their women don't make them put in a relationship, all right? But they must tell the women they're with, oh, I don't want anybody to know my relationship status, all right? If you're in a relationship with a guy, you better make sure he puts in a relationship with you, or just puts in a relationship, all right? Because I have found, and my friends have found, there have been plenty of men that put no relationship status that are married or in relationships, and then they try to contact women on social media and say they're single. So watch out for that and notice their relationship status on their Facebook, okay? Hey everyone, I want to tell you about the Taking Sides, the Marriage Podcast. On Taking Sides, the Marriage Podcast, listeners are going to send in their relationship questions, their disputes, and their current disagreements. Hosts Dalen and Ashley Seeley, known as the Dashleys on Facebook and YouTube, they're then going to take sides and offer their opinion on the matter. The goal of this podcast is not to be divisive, but rather to learn to come together, gain your tools for making the relationship work, and learn that the best side to take is the one you come up with together, and to learn to disagree without being disagreeable. Sometimes it helps to know that you're not alone, and other couples have experienced the same issues as you do. So listen, you have to go to Taking Sides, the podcast, you guys. If you would like to have your relationship questions answered, you need to send your questions to Taking Sides with the Dashleys at gmail.com to hear the questions answered on the next episode of Taking Sides dash the Marriage Podcast on Spotify or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. So go to Taking Sides, the Marriage Podcast. And if you find that kind of nonsense and you find out that they are in a relationship, block them and block them fast, all right? You want people like that out of your life. You have to just let go of all these kind of clowns, all right? And there's a lot out there. There's a lot of people that play games, and especially on social media. That's why we have the show Catfish now, right, you guys? All right, how many people are talking to somebody like on Catfish for 3-4 years and realize that they're not even talking to the person that they thought they were talking to? They never got on the phone with them. They never video chatted with them. I mean, it's sad to say, but you got to check out who you're talking to make sure they really are who they are, all right? And instead of always looking at the superficial, oh, he's a great looking guy and he's got a great job and he does text me every day, good morning and everything, and says we'll get together. Well, that's really nice and everything, but what does he know about you? Has he asked you any personal questions about yourself? Has he asked you about your prior relationships? Has he asked you, do you have kids, or how many kids you have? Or asked you where you went to school, or ask you anything about, your job, or, anything like that, your family life, or any kind of thing like that? Because if you're dating somebody and they're not asking you anything like that, they're just saying, good morning, how are you, beautiful, or anything like that, or hey, sexy, or any of that kind of, the nothing texts, I call them, the nothing texts, all right? And he hasn't asked you anything, well, guess what? He's not really interested in you, all right? He's just stringing you along for when he could see you. Because when somebody's interested in you, and it goes the same for a guy talking to a woman as well, or partner to partner, when somebody's really interested, they want to know all about you, all right? So if you're talking to somebody or you're seeing somebody and they're not showing you any of these signs, you gotta let them go, all right? You have to let them go. Don't waste your time. You gotta cut them right off. I have a friend of mine. She deals with so many different men, okay? She's like the dating queen. She's always dating. And she finds one after another playing games with her, and she just constantly blocks them. I call her the blocker. But she's doing the right thing, because in a sense, what she's doing is she's preventing herself from being jerked around down the road, okay? And this is the whole point of this podcast, is the minute you see somebody playing games with you, let them go. Let them go. There'll be somebody else that will not play games with you. The longer you waste your time with these people that play games, you're just wasting your time, and that's preventing you from talking or seeing other people that could be sincere with you, all right? Don't make excuses for people that play games with you. Let them go right away. Let them go. Somebody ghosts on you, you let them go. You let them go. You don't accept that behavior, all right? Because not only that, if you do accept that, you know what that person's doing? They're laughing behind your back. Okay, in case you didn't realize it, when somebody ghosts on you and then they come back and you talk to them like nothing ever happened, they're actually laughing at you behind your back and looking at you like a fool. Don't let anybody think that you're a fool, all right? So, when somebody's not showing you the respect that you deserve, let them go. This is why I say, do not get emotional about somebody in the very beginning, all right? You have to think with your head. I don't care. You can meet somebody. They could be the best looking person in the world. You could be like, wow, I really want that person to be my boyfriend, or I really want that person to be my girlfriend, okay? You can't look at it like that. You have to look at it like, well, is this somebody I could trust? Is this somebody who's going to be there for me on a regular basis? Let's say every weekend is going to make time for me and isn't always going to be out with their friends on the weekends, or maybe possibly out with other females or males on the weekends, okay? That's how you have to think. Not, oh, I see myself walking down the aisle with this. No, you got to block all that out of your mind, all right? Because if you get yourself in that kind of romantic mindset, you're setting yourself up for a big disappointment. That's why a lot of people get disappointed down the road. It's because they build it up in their head before you've gotten past these checkpoints, okay? It's kind of like you got to put them through their checkpoints, and then once the person passes, and you see, okay, this person is contacting me on a regular basis. This person is seeing me on a regular basis. This person is progressing forward with me on a regular basis. This person isn't always making sexual innuendos with me on a regular basis. Like, they really want to get to know me. The conversation isn't always regressing back to sex. All right. That's another clue too, you guys. If you're dealing with a guy, okay, and every conversation is, hey, sexy, oh, you're so sexy, or, oh, I would love to come over and cuddle with you. Red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. If he's talking like that and he hasn't really even made an effort to get to know you, like talk to you like about your day at work, if you're telling him about your meeting and he just doesn't seem interested, or you've never really had any real conversations and everything is regressing back to sexy, oh, you're sexy, or oh yeah, oh, I'd love to see you in that outfit, or what's your idea of a perfect date? Oh, mine is going to the hotel and putting roses on the bed. Oh, well, that's really nice, but do you know what I do for a living? Okay, you get my point, you guys. All right, then you know that you're dealing with a clown, okay, or somebody that's just looking at you as a sexual object. And don't waste your time, all right? Don't waste your time, because a guy that's serious about you is not going to bring up sex in the beginning, all right? He's going to want to get to know you, all right? So when you're dealing with these kind of clowns, let them go. Let them go right away, and do not make excuses and say, oh, well, I think he really likes me and everything like that, all right? You have to really Look at the conversation that this person is making with you. Look at his consistency with you, all right? Look to see if he's contacting you and, when he texts you. That's another thing when it comes to the texts, all right? Keep this in mind. If he's texting you and he's making like conversation with you, that's one thing. If he's just texting you and giving you the what are you doing text, the WYD at like 11 o'clock at night, all right, that is not somebody that's really, talking to you like he's looking at you, he wants something long term with you. That's just somebody touch basing with you and just making little idle contact with you, all right? So be able to differentiate the two. But the whole point of this podcast, you guys, is I think that a lot of people, and especially women, they have a hard time of letting go of certain men in their life that play games with them, and they have to let them go, all right? Don't look at it as losing something. Look at it as saving yourself from a heartache later on, all right? Look at it as, okay, one door closes and guess what? Another door will open up for you, all right? But you have to cut it in the beginning. You have to let it go. Don't wear your heart on a sleeve. Don't, every guy you meet, and you start to see, don't look at them as, your future husband. Do not look at them. They've got to pass the checkpoints, all right? That's how you protect yourself from getting hurt, is that you don't go all in. You take it one step at a time and you see if this person does what they're supposed to be doing and they're meeting all their needs, all right? And I talk about this in my book, you guys. I have a new book out on Amazon right now. It's free, so you could download it and check it out. It's, talking about he's wasting your time, the signs to look for, all right, that he's really not into you. It's called He's Not Into You, He's Wasting Your Time, and the link is in my podcast description. But I just wanted to tell you guys, I know it's really hard. We all want somebody that cares about us, and you meet somebody and they seem like a great person, but you really don't know that person, you guys. And in the beginning, everybody's nice. Everybody's nice in the beginning, all right? Don't forget that. And then as time goes on, you're going to see the true character of who that person is, okay? So take it one step at a time and make sure that this person is what they say they are. And, don't believe everything you hear, because a lot of people talk a lot of nonsense, all right? And just be smart about it. Just be smart about it and let that person go. Let them go when they start playing games, because you're sending out a message, you know what? I am not the type of person that you could play games with. And like I said, if you allow it, it's going to continue. So you might as well cut it from the beginning. Don't second guess yourself, all right? This is something I used to do. I always used to make excuses and second guess myself. And I had a very good friend of mine, and he used to say to me, why do you make excuses for him? He used to say, you're always making excuses for him. And I said, well, I don't know, like it could be this or it could be that. He goes, and this is a male perspective, all right? And he said, stop making excuses for him, all right? He's treating you like a fool. And this is what I'm trying to tell you guys, all right? Don't let anybody treat you like a fool. When you start to see somebody playing games, or you see somebody cross the line, let's say you're in a relationship and they commit infidelity or something like that, you got to let them go, you guys. It's going to happen again 9 times out of 10. You got to let them go. You'll get over it. You'll get over the hurt, okay? We've all been there. It will pass, and you will meet somebody that you could trust. You don't want to live the rest of your life having to always worry where somebody is or what they're doing. It's a horrible way to live, all right? All right? Unfortunately, you got a bad apple there. But the whole thing is you want to protect yourself, protect your heart, all right? and let somebody go. You got to let them go when they start to do things that are disrespectful to you in any way. All right? I hope that helps. If you like my podcast, please hit the subscribe button and share. And have a great night, you guys.